Welcome to the first video in a series of videos to help supporting you in creating a breakthrough year for 2020. If you are someone who likes to set New Year's goals but find yourself giving up on yourself really quite quickly, if you want to be able to take your business to the next level, you know it's going to take more than goal setting, then this is the video series for you. Now, everyone is setting New Year's goals, New Year's resolutions at this time of year, but how are you going to set yourself up to stay motivated, to be able to continuously focus on achieving your goals, even when challenges come your way? This is all about taking things to the next level. So we can't just set goals and hope they're going to happen. There's key components that we need to do to be able to shift and change the results that we see in our lives. So through this short video series, I'm going to take you through releasing 2019. We need to go back and look at the lessons and actually extract the awareness so that we can take that into the new year, so we are aware when we actually stop taking action and what that means. We're going to be diving into deciding and committing into our next level promise. We will then create and expand your vision. We'll break through action and actually talk about what it's going to take to actually achieve that breakthrough year. And then I'm going to take you in stepping into the future version of you. It's going to be an incredible series, and it's about really delving into your inner psyche, but it's also diving into the reflection on looking at last year. So let's dive into the first video. So today's video is all about releasing 2019. For us to be able to really extract the lessons, we need to go back and look. It's what makes the difference between someone who is just dabbling in their business to someone who truly wants to make a great go of it, for someone who really truly wants to step in and become that next version of themselves. So we need to not avoid the numbers, as scary as they can be sometimes. There is so many lessons and so many golden nuggets of wisdom in those numbers that if we don't do it, then we can miss out on so much goodness. It's going to support us into the whole new year. So through this video, I want you to take the guide. If you haven't downloaded the guide just yet, then you can head to christinecorcoran.com.au/breakthroughyear. And we're going to dive into reviewing 2019. We're going to go through the business aspect first, and then we'll dive into the personal aspect. So what a lot of people do is actually focus on just the business aspect, and they forget the personal aspect where all the gold is. So we're going to dive into that right now. So getting out your guide, I want you to break it down and actually look at what were all the amazing accomplishments that you achieved this year. What did you overcome? What did you work through? What did you achieve? What were your financial goals? What were your outcomes? Really look at everything and how far you've come. It's really important that we really start to decide what worked well, because often we don't even notice those things. We end up keep focusing on the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and forget to look back and go, actually, that was a really great promotion. That was a really great campaign. And if I tweak it, I could use a similar opportunity in the new year. So what I want you to do is I want you to reflect back, and we're going to look back at every single quarter of the year. And there's going to be key questions you're going to go through. The first one is writing down all of your accomplishments, all of your achievements. Write down the proudest moments. Write down the milestones you hit. Really start to see how far you've come. Write down any win that you had. The most important thing when it comes to overcoming the imposter syndrome, every time we stretch to that next level of growth, the imposter syndrome comes up to play. The best way to overcome that is to actually have all of this written down. So the next time you come up against it, you can start to reflect back and go, see, this is how far I've come. This is what I've overcome. This is what challenges that I worked through. These are the wins that I had. These are the milestones, and it helps us to build that evidence and evidence bank of self-belief to know that we can keep moving forward through that fear. So the next part is your promotional aspects. So we want to look at all of your launches that we've put in place this year. You want to look at what worked well. What would you do differently next time? What did you put out to the world? What did people love? What did not work? Because sometimes we start to look at it and go, well, that was really interesting. I thought it was a great promotion, but it didn't really take off the way I thought it would. So maybe it was actually where we lost track of who we were actually targeting. So we've lost track of the ideal client that we really want to attract, and that promotion didn't really speak to them. The other part could be that maybe it was the wrong time of year. So when you look at the promotions, really look at the dates that you planned out and look at when you put out what. And was it a last minute prep? Was it something that you put out last minute and it really didn't work because you didn't have all the prep behind it and all the ammunition behind it to make it a really great launch? Really start to look at these things. And I want you to take an overview of this, not really seeing it from your own eyes, because when we're so associated in it, it can be really difficult to extract the lessons. So if you need to, maybe look at it as if it's somebody else's business, as if you were helping a friend check out how they went for the year. Really start to look at it from that disassociated place so you can start to extract those lessons. Then we want to dive into the marketing and the advertising components. So what marketing did you put in place? What advertising did you use? What worked? What didn't work? Where were your leads coming from? So when you start to digest that type of information, we can start to see, okay, these are the ones that worked. This is where I need to double down for the new year. So really work out, were they the right leads? So the marketing that you put out there, did it attract the right people? Or maybe that needs to be tweaked as well. So really starting to look at all of those details. Then we want to look at our conversions. Where did I convert well? What was the best way for me to convert? Was it sales pages? Was it on calls? Was it online? Was it through Instagram? Like, where were my conversions coming from? Then we want to make sure that actually look at every avenue where every lead came from, because sometimes when we don't do that, what we can end up doing is actually spending all of our time in a place where it's actually not the right place where our ideal client is hanging out, or that we could be doubling down on this one place where we're getting our most warm, attractive leads that really want to work with us. So start to then look at all the avenues where your leads are coming from and start to see where those numbers are working for you, where they're not working for you. And then I want you to start to look at, what did you learn from those campaigns? When you think back to those campaigns, what did you learn about yourself through that? What did you learn about business? What did you learn about your clients through it? There are so many golden nuggets we can take away when we start to really reflect on the lessons that it was there to teach us. Then we want to write down all your services and products. We look at the best sellers, what worked really well, what was something that just did not sell. Maybe you only had one or two things sell in that avenue. Then it's like, okay, maybe next year I take that away from my service menu and then I add something else differently. Or maybe it's actually reducing the amount of services because things were too confusing for people. So really start to see where those numbers are trying to tell you something. Then I would suggest you look at all of your financials. Right? We obviously want to make sure that we're on top of all of our numbers, because when we start to see where we're our most intense parts of the year, was it July? Was it March? Where can we focus on going, well, if that worked so well last year, then maybe it's worthwhile amping up the promotion around that time of the year to really enhance the leads that come my way. So really start to think of it from a business point of view. Anything else in regards to your financials, start to see, where did you lose money? You want to look at all the ways that you possibly were putting money out and it wasn't coming back in. So maybe it's time to look at things and go, okay, where am I spending money that maybe I could start to curb? Or maybe I could start to look at, what's my return on investment been, and has it been worthwhile? Or maybe it's time to find somebody else to do that job, or somebody else to outsource that to. Where are you spending your time? Because I think one of the biggest things that business owners don't realize is that most expensive commodity is their time. So where was your time spent? If you were to do a stock take of the year and go, okay, where did I waste my time and where could I possibly outsource or delegate? It'll help to shift things a little bit quicker for the new year, so you're not wasting time in those areas again. And then start to just think about, what were your main takeaways from that each quarter. So when we look at it from that perspective, we can start to really notice, okay, these were my busy areas. This is when I can take holidays, and it's probably best for me to take holidays. This is where I needed to do the professional development to keep my mindset up. Like, sometimes we start to look at, where was my slump in energy as well. And maybe we start to see that, well, actually in June, I needed a bit of a pick me up. So I needed to have a holiday, or I needed to get some professional development to support me. Either way, we start to look at that and take the lessons away that we need to be able to shift and to create that breakthrough year for the new year. Now, the second element to this is the personal reflection. This is where the gold is, because we are our businesses. So it is up to us to be able to reflect and to be able to extract the lessons that we need to be able to move forward and to shift and change our results for the new year. So the first key component is, what challenges did you overcome? What can you work through and actually see that I went through that and I got through it and I was stronger for it? What did you learn about yourself over this year? What were the key lessons that you can take away from this year? And really try to find the positive lessons, because often our brain will go straight to the negatives, but I want you to pull yourself back up and find, where were those positives, because I guarantee you there are positives. And even if you find the negatives, see if you can turn it into a positive. You want to look at, what habits supported you this year. What did you do for yourself that actually helped support your success? Was it a morning routine? Was it a workout routine? Was it a self-care routine? Like, what was it that actually supported your success? What about your time and effort? Where did you spend your time? Where did you put your effort? And what was your commitment level? So even looking at the different promotions that you put out this year, or where you spent your energy, where was your commitment level? Was it a 10 out of 10? Were you 110% committed, or was it kind of waning? So really start to look at that, because sometimes that can actually reflect our results. And so rather than looking at a promotion and going, well, that didn't really work so well, you need to also then factor in, where was my commitment level? Did I go all in with that, or was it something that I could improve for next year? So it wasn't about the promotion, it was actually about my energy. So really start to notice those personal aspects. Then I really want you to nut out what actions actually contributed to the most success for you this year. Now, I guarantee you're going to be able to find incredible nuggets through this. Now, sometimes we don't realize we're spending so much time and energy doing activities in our business that don't generate income. So I want you to really reflect on what actions gave you the best results. So was it that when you stopped caring what people thought and you started doing more video? Was it that you started to actually reach out and get speaking opportunities? Was it because you actually started to build your network? Like, what specifics did you do? What actions did you take that guaranteed great results? Now, sometimes we don't realize this without the reflection. So really worthwhile diving into that question. The next part is, what mindset and beliefs supported your success this year? So where you were successful throughout this year, I really want you to think back. What did you say to yourself that allowed you to take that action? What did you believe about yourself and able to make that a success? And I guarantee you there was some amazing thought patterns that you had. There was an amazing belief system that made you just go, yep, I've got this. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do it no matter what. Like, there was some beautiful nuggets there that I want you to extract. And when you start to jot those down, you can use those as affirmations for the new year. Now, the flip side to that is starting to think about what mindset didn't support you. So I know there's been times in my business where I felt that I was in a place of lack or in a place of scarcity. So it was really stuck in that place of not really being able to take action from a motivated, inspired place. So it was about shifting my energy and vibration to get back to that, so then I could feel like I'm taking inspired action. So I need to look at the mindset aspect of what didn't support me. Was it that I believed that whatever else was out there was already been done? Whatever was said was already been done? That everybody else is doing video better than me? Is it that I don't know enough people to build my network? Like, really think about what the language is that you use and the thought patterns that you had that actually kept you stuck. Because you really want to unpack that, because that's what your inner critic is using to keep you safe, right? And even though that's a positive for your inner critic, it's only going to keep you playing small. So you want to unpack those thought patterns so then you're aware of them. So then when they happen in the new year, and they most likely will, because we are, creatures of habit, and our thought patterns work the same way, that even when they do pop up next year, you can start to become aware of it. You'll start to notice that, oh, that's just my inner critic trying to keep me safe. So I can move past that. Okay, so then, is there anything that you need to complete this year to make sure that you're not taking it into 2020? I really want you to think about that. Is there any key things that you'd like to just finish off and finish working on before you step into a whole new year that you just don't want to take with you? Really start to jot a couple of those things down. And what would you like to do differently next year? Let's start to unpack and start to think about that new year. What do you not want to do that you did this year? What do you want to do differently? And where did you find that you didn't take action? This is one of my favorite questions, because it starts to unlock some of the ways that we keep ourselves playing small. And if we want to truly have a breakthrough year, then this is where the beautiful self-work comes into play. It's all about how we support ourselves in stepping forward. So where did you not take action, and why was that? What was the reasons that you used? What were the excuses that you used? And when you start to unpack that, and I want to bring that to your attention now, because in the next couple of videos, we're going to go deeper into that. So I just want you to start thinking about that. What were the things that you told yourself that caused you to stop taking action? Or what had to happen for you to then get out of that state? So really starting to think about, why weren't you taking action? What were the reasons or excuses? And then what can we use to shift past that? And I'll support you in creating that in the next few videos. So I'd love for you to go away and then break that all down. Please take the time to really reflect, because there are so many lessons in this ability to reflect. And if we don't do it, we end up taking the old patterns, old behaviors into a whole new year, and we end up having the same results. So I want you to be able to have an amazing, incredible breakthrough year. And I just know, because I've done this myself and I support my clients through this, that when you really start to break it down and uncover the mindset shifts that we need to have to be able to move forward into that breakthrough session, then this is it. So go away, do that, and come back and let's watch the next video, the Next Level Promise.